What is up, people? Half Slab Bacon back with another episode in Bacon's World. So guys, why all the potions? Well, we'll get to that in a sec. Why? Because first I have to say, not a lot of videos this week, right? Sorry about that. There's a good reason for it though. I got a little obsessed, y'all. A little obsessed with the subject of today's video. Yeah, that's right. Like, super obsessed with building the perfect blaze farm. So, now that it's done, we're gonna do it in my survival world today. But, I got a ton of packing up of stuff and things to do first. In particular, potions. You know, if Mojang would just fix the whole hopper bug with the brewing stand so we could build my automated potion room, doing this would have been a lot faster. But no. Alright guys, we are in my test world, well, a separate test world, so I could test all conditions, even the biome. You can see I changed it to hell. Yep, that's right. So, this is our beast of a blaze farm, people. It's overly complicated, I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy complicated. So I'm not gonna go over it in full, but basically, you come in here and you're locked into a little AFK spot here, and you hit your power, and the whole thing starts going like crazy and bringing all the mobs down. I'm just gonna stop it for a minute. And they all load up here. Let's just break this block. They all load up in here. You know, boom, boom, boom. All the mobs. All the mobs. And then what happens is the whole system's on a timer. And after about 6.5 minutes, this crusher kicks in. The wall in the back pushes them into a 2-space gap. Comes down, crushes them for half a heart. Normally they wouldn't die. This one's got a bit of an extension on it, the manual button. And then throws you a potion. And of course you're holding right click in the AFK spot and bam. You kill all the guys. All the guys. So, getting this sorted out to where I was happy with it was actually pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So we'll turn it back on. You can see everything kind of moves in sync here. You'll notice if you watch carefully up top, the side pistons are pulling back just before that extends. Same with the next row down. You'll see there's a careful little layer of glass. And if you had noticed, before that crusher comes down, that bottom one extends, that one pulls back, and they lock in place, and then that drops down. And that's just to hold additional mobs back from taking damage. That back wall, as I said, will push them a block forward, so they're within range, perfect range for the potion. And then of course this is the optimal standing position, 4 blocks away from where the potion is going to drop, because potions cover an 8x8 area for damage. Now they do get weaker or shorter in duration depending on the type of potion when it's a splash. Farther away from the center they get. So because of that, we're going to use instant damage 2 potions. That way the extra potency matters a lot on the outer edges of our throw radius. So this thing is pretty complicated. There is 7, count them, 7 different timers, and to get this all to flow properly, they couldn't even operate independently. They had to operate in unison. Some have to lock each other out, etc. So yeah, the redstone wiring's a little crazy. Similar to a wood farm. It's got all kinds of stuff going on. The main goal here was to get them out of the spawn check area as quick as possible, have an AFK location and a kill location within range of the spawner, and to get them down into that location for killing without taking any damage until the crusher hits them. Oh, we're gonna see one of my potions pop out when this is done. Yeah, baby. Here it comes. There it is. Beautiful. Yeah, that's why I've been so radio silent, guys, was I wanted to perfect this. I was stuck in build mode and I didn't want to put out a crappy video, and my mind was strictly on this farm every time I sat down to do the Minecrafts. So, now that I've kind of gone over everything here and how it works overall, I think we should get started building. Okay guys, so one thing I never seem to think of doing, and I don't know why, to be honest with you, is making my life easy when it comes to breaking this after the fact. I always tend to block it off when I build a farm, like right away, and then I have to worry about being careful around the actual mob spawner itself after the fact, right? So I decided that was a dumb idea. So I figure what I'm gonna do here is, before I get started like hollowing out the rest of the area around this to actually start building, and I got a blaze shooting at me already and I haven't even opened this up yet, is I'm gonna put dirt on the bottom layer here, and then I'm actually gonna go ahead and fill the rest in with sand, just because right now it's easier to deal with this than after I've caged it in with a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean? Makes sense, right? Makes sense. And then once the cage is built around it and the lighting's ready and it's actually time to tear this thing apart, it'll be much easier because I can just swing my shovel at the dirt, and then the other two layers above it, which will be all sand, are just gonna fall. Alright guys, so this part was easy. I just put the sand on top after I got the bottom dirt layer in, and then I ran a pillar along the sides and hollowed out the middle, and then just took out the top blocks from the center out and let the sand fall down. Bam, easy as could be. Now I actually wanted to show you this. I am going one block for the ceiling higher than necessary. We could just go there because blazes are the exact same size as a player, no higher, so it doesn't even check above 2 blocks above, so it won't even check for airspace above this block. So could have put ceiling here, but this makes it much easier. With the blaze farm we need lava dispensers to have a proper on-off switch, and they have to be close to the spawner. So this just makes that so much easier, because now I've got enough room while the blaze farm is off to go ahead and do this, and then I can build the rest of the cage around it, and like my top access and everything, and then take all this out after it's caged in. I can turn the light on. I thought that was kind of, you know, a smart way of doing it. Normally I jump in the cage and die. I didn't feel like doing that this time. Well, I don't always die, but you know, there's always that risk when you jump inside a blaze cage while the spawner's active. Alright, we're in super annoying amazeball awesome time stuff. Like that. Yeah. This has been fun. I've gotten shot, I don't know, 50 billion times now, so what I'm trying to do is just get the floor in so I can work my rails up to meet the other sides, because there's not going to be doing any redstone until all this is done, right? Because I can't have these idiots shooting the redstone, and I swear to God, I just killed like 50 million of them. You know, I like this area because a lot of it was exposed. So I thought, hey, I'm not going to have to mine it all. Yeah. I forgot how much of a pain in the butt doing this stuff in the nether is. Seriously, how'd you shoot me through a fence? Is there another one around here? Oh, up there. That's why. So yeah, baby steps. Baby steps. I'm gonna finish off the fence and try not to get killed, and I'll BRBs. Alright, the massive, ginormous, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious freaking stuff is in, you know, the cage. And now I've just got to clean this platform up so nothing spawns on it. And get ready to do the rock and roll. Then there'll be a whole bunch of pillaring, a whole bunch of redstone work. Yay! Alright guys, so all that is in and we're pretty much ready at this stage to like get the machine cranked. So that's why I was thinking this dirt, it's gonna make it so much easier. We're still gonna use a fire resist potion because there's, you know, still a decent chance we'll need it. But all we should really have to do now is come out here and go up to the top and put our lava in, and then we should pretty much be ready after we activate the lava to close this box off. Oh, great. Pigmen spawned. So, in case you're wondering, the half slabs there is because I can see through them, but they don't let any light in. It's just an old school trick. So it's a good way of having a completely dark box that's visible. And then up here, even though it's all glass, I won't have to worry about any light, because the only thing that's going to be up here is redstone, and those walls are all far enough away that they won't affect it. So when the lava goes off, it will be completely dark, even though it's got a glass roof. Love it. So we're just going to have to be uber careful not to hit pigmen here. It's going to be the thing. So next we're going to set up our slime block swiper, which is actually super easy. You can see the obsidian here is where we're going to power it from, where the actual pistons will move. So when this piston hits here, it's going to get unpowered. And then when the next one over, which would be that one right there, powers, it's going to drag this back, and then that can fire. So that's kind of how the stop works there. This obsidian is just because occasionally some of the slime blocks glitch out. It's kind of a known issue. So just to kind of keep that from being a major concern for myself, we're gonna, you know, leave that there. That way, if any of them glitch out this way, odds are they get stuck up against this bank, or worst case, they pull a couple of these, they don't start pulling up top, they don't lock. If like 3 or 4 of them end up here, they don't lock the whole arm, because that's an immovable block, so they just lock. It's easier to clean up, pretty much, basically. So now what we're actually going to do is, yeah, we're going to start doing this, but we're going to want to drink our fire resist potion at this point. I think I brought, yeah, I brought an 8-minute. So that gives us lots of time to get started on all this, right? So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to be a little bit sneaky with this, and because I don't feel like being on fire the whole time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So much for that idea. Go like that, and then... and that should take care of that. Yeah, there we go. Just have to do it quick. And maybe not so easy, because now I can't see. Okay, there we are. No problem. Oh boy. That was glass. Yeah, gotta get out. Gotta get out. Fire potion's about to wear off. Ah! Well, that didn't work near as well as I thought it would. Okay, so I fixed the glass and, you know, did some other stuff. It actually does look like we got most of it. Problem is, now I have to contend with these guys spawning in. And yeah, I'm not going to be too happy about that. Now, I don't know if they can hit me from here or not, though. I didn't think so. So I might be able to just go around this way and get out all this stuff if I'm really, really careful. I think I'm going to try that. And yeah, next time I stick with just a straight up fire potion and going in and fighting them. Because this actually made it more work, I think, not less. Good idea in theory. Haha! Sand, no problem. Just do the left click, right click thing. I close the ends off first because we're in spawning range and they're aggroed at me. So yeah, that's the thing. Now the only thing is, I don't know how I'm getting those couple pieces of dirt I missed. That's gonna be a tricky one. Alright guys, so that's all cleaned up. And I put the slime blocks back. I just climbed on the side there and reached through the slabs to get them in. So the slime pusher is back in place, and all I'm doing right now is getting these in. Now, actually I think I need to be one higher so it places properly. These are really easy. 5 block wide. Bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna do all the wiring after because it's so complex and because it's just easier to kind of do it all at once. Because, of course, I do have a template for it. I've actually got my creative world open on the PC next to me, so it's easy for me to see and follow along. So we do need to surround these slime blocks on either side to cover their movement pattern, make sure they're good to go. And then I'm actually going to take these bad boys and go out to here. Squeeze that in there, and then we're gonna go 2 blocks out from there, and it's exactly the same on that side. We're just putting a double piston extender in place so it'll push out into these 2 spots and push towards the slime blocks when it cycles. That's it, that's all. Nothing too crazy. So exact same thing on this side. Oh, I thought I was off a block. Nope. I got it. Beautiful. And I am putting one there just to make sure there's no lighting getting in down at this level as well. Some of these might have to move a little bit when I go put my wiring in, but at the moment, I'm just more concerned with making sure everything goes in the right spots, and that's why I'm working like from top down. It seems counterintuitive because it's more difficult to place blocks this way, but the flip side is, guys, that I make sure I got all the measurements right the first time. So yeah, that's the reason for that. So that's that side. those will push out, and then this will push out in this direction. And I've got the slime blocks at the feet, so that way, as they're falling down, if it comes out, it's not up here and slamming them into the glass and causing suffocation damage. They're allowed to fall all the way, or they'll get stuck at this level. Just prevents any damage whatsoever from their timing being out of sync with the movement of this. Alright guys, so for the next part, I've done the one side already, and that's kind of how I'm just going to keep going at it with these, just because they're so complicated. I want to make it absolutely sure I get them right, if you follow me. So for this one, I'm actually going to put 2 down right from that sticky or slime block or whatever you want to call it, and then again we're putting our piston on the bottom. That's more of a redstone spacing thing than anything else for this particular instance. But we've also got to get rid of these blocks and make them obsidian. And then go ahead and fill our size in, like so. And then on this side, I'm going to try and get rid of this stuff as I go, because I don't think I did on the other side. But on this side, I'm actually going to go like so. And let's just get rid of those. And like so. Now, here's the part where it gets a little more tricky. We're going to grab this right here and that right there. And this, in all fairness, I believe is the last extension we do on this end. Probably wrap it up from there. I did that wrong, didn't I? Crap. It's nothing worse than placing obsidian wrong. Dang it, Bobby. So yeah, from here, bam, bam. And again, this is just to keep the light. Now, some of these blocks, I know I'm going to be replacing, guys. Like, I know it's thing. I'm going to be tearing them out. Like, I don't think I have room for those there, because wiring has to go underneath. But it's just easier at this stage to do the setup accordingly. And we're going to pull these out, because now what we're going to have on this end is regular pistons instead of stickies. And they're just going to go like this. Single piston, no need for a double piston extender this time. And that's because, as you can see, those are going to push to that row there, so push them in here. And then that's going to push out down into here. These two are going to push into this bank of 3. And this bank of 3 is what's ultimately going to push out and into our final kill chamber area. Now, part of the trick here is I'm actually using this, so they're going to drop down, they're going to get pushed forward at this level, right? And then it's going to pull back, they're going to fall down again, and then the glass is going to push them this way. That's the way that's all going to work out. So the whole trick is just staging it so that they're not taking any damage. It's really what's going on there. So I'm going to get the next side prepped up, and I'll BRBs. Alright guys, so now that that's cleaned up, this is a block lower now, this section here, and that's because this is actually going to be pretty much where our AFK spot ends up, and there's the hallway going back to our mine. So I don't know, maybe an epic staircase or something. We'll see. Today it's just get her built, because this is such a major project. So over up in here, we're gonna want 5 wide, and we're gonna go a bank like a so, And then we need a temporary block place. Jeez. There. So we can place obsidian here. Let's get rid of that temporary block now. Just easier to clean up later. And then what we're going to do up in here is we're going to go... Yeah, that's center. Yeah, that's center. So now we need sticky piston, more slime blocks. What did I do? I'm such a derp today. Need something to place the sticky piston against. So we're just going to have one sticky piston, and this is going to be our crusher. So this back wall is going to move things forward. And then after it pushes all the mobs forward, so instead of having a 3x5 area, we've got a 2x5, which is like perfect for the potions and max sanity cramming. By the way, I might add. Yeah. And we're just going to go solid blocks. I think we're going to go with the clay here. Yes, I had mostly, you know, glass in my world, but that's just something I always kind of do. So on the backs as well, I think I'm going to run with the clay because we really only need it to be visible from the one side, right? So now you can kind of see the glass is so nothing can spawn, and so we can see through the front area. And the rest is just kind of, yeah, done, ready to go. Now, of course, up here, we're going to want those there, just so nothing interferes with our slime blocks. Alright, I decided I'm going to keep most of it glass, actually. Like, save for the floors and that kind of thing. We're going to do half slabs, but I kind of like the thought of being able to see the machine as it's running from inside our AFK room. We'll pretty up like the outside portion out here where we're standing. Whoops, the box that surrounds us. But the wiring's going to be exposed because it takes up the bulk of this room anyways. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking there's not really too much point in going all crazy now. We need a hopper there. Hopper, whoop, not there. They need to run back to just underneath our thing there. So we're safe to get rid of all this. And then the actual kill area has to be soul sand so the blocks can get through. So this entire thing is going to be soul sand 3 blocks out where we're funneling them to. And then I guess we'll continue with, well, it's not, dang it, Bobby. Alright. We'll continue with this theme. Alright, I decided I'm going to keep the glass for sure inside. Just looks good. And what we actually need now is on this end, we need dispenser, not dropper, has to be a dispenser. This is going to be the bad boy that kicks us into gear for our potions. So we got to keep this thing full, like super full. So we got our double chests going back that way, the hoppers in there and just go right in. And I'm going to keep the whole thing a half slab area. So we'll have to like come up a little bit if we want to walk around. But the benefit to that is once we put these in, then we know where our optimal position is, right? There'll be a door coming in right here. And if we go up the slab, we've gone too far. So I'm kind of liking that thought. Alright guys, just working on the sections of the clock. This is not easy to cram it all in here, but... Whoops. No. No! It must be done. It must be done. Oh. I put that there. We don't need that there. Those have to be redstone dust. Standard etho hopper clock after all. So I do have enough room to move here. Yeah. Just ever so slightly. So I'm gonna need a sticky and a sticky. And I'm gonna wanna jump up on top of that here. And let's get our redstone block on. I'm not gonna like put anything in to start the timer until all the redstone wire's done, because otherwise we'd just have everything going off all the time. So this down here is the comparator clock that sets off our crusher and everything, but I have yet to connect it all. Like that's gonna be done through a torch tower. Like so. This side, all the different piston extenders are wired up, as you can see, which took some effort. And this clock right here is actually the one that is in charge of cycling those. Like you can see, if we come over here and we remove this redstone, just pulses on and off, turns the torch on, starts the cycle over again. So that's what that one's responsible for. So now we actually have to wire it going this way into a torch tower for all these pistons. So same process. The only difference is on this side, I have 1 tick going out to a 4 tick repeater. And on this side, I'm going to have 4 ticks going out to a 4 tick repeater. It's not absolutely necessary. It just keeps them in sync because of the timing difference of the clock cycling. That's all that is. And then we have to come back over here and branch off even more stuff, which is just freaking amazeballs. And like I said, this is like, it's tight enough that even though I know it, because I designed it, I still have to look at my other map, which I'm doing right now, so I get it right. Otherwise, it's just going to be a bit of a mess. So this one right here is just a straight redstone wire out, going to the torch tower. 5, and then our repeater. And you can actually hear stuff like cycling as I do things because it's causing bug updates and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's an elaborate setup. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of difficult building this in survival, but you know, somebody's got to do it. So this is gonna be my next torch tower here. And because of that, I have to switch some blocks up so I can get up on this thing. Hopefully I don't fall. There's a good chance I will. Its thing. So let's grab that. And that has to go there. And then we actually need... We're just going to go like this. So when we get up here... we can get the repeater required. 1 tick. So that's good right there. And then from there, Now you can see it's powered, it's cycled. We just gotta go up and then place our blocks here, and this is where we split off into the other piston extenders. So for right here, actually, the only thing I'm gonna need is a redstone dust. But then comes the fun task of cycling this out elsewhere, which is going to get done by putting a repeater there and a repeater here. So I'll show you one side because they're mirrored, they're identical. So from there, I'm going to need my handy dandy repeaters back. And there's no added delay on these on either side. It's just a one tick. And then I'm actually going to staircase this up to go to that one. But first we need to get around to the other one that's hiding back in there. So yeah, it's a thing. Remember what I said about removing some of these blocks? Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't need to be there. So this one, we're just going with simple redstone line straight into here. And we're making sure that we put our repeater right here so that we're not getting any crosstalk or butting with that piston. And this one on both sides is set to 4 ticks. Now we're just going to replace our block and get our redstone wire back. And from here we run that all the way around, except here I believe we have a torch. Yes, we do. We need to invert the signal here so it alternates. And then we go back to redstone here, and this is going to go up and make our double piston extender. So pretty simple, standard, everyday double piston extender. You run your redstone wire. We're going to connect this last. We're going to go like that. We're going to grab our repeaters, and we want 4 ticks on this one, 2 ticks on that one. That's your standard setup. And then, like I said, we want to connect the power last, and we see it extends. So that's all for these. That gets both sets of pistons and the ones in the middle. I'm going to finish off the other side, and I'll be back to show you some of the rest of the redstone wizardry. Also, I figured I should point out that, yeah, we want glass up in here, like so, on either side, so they're forced to funnel in that direction. I guess I really don't need it here at all. It's more on that piston and off into that corner. I was doing the whole thing. And I'm using glass again, just so I can see, guys. That's it. That's all. Just, I want to see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's too much to ask for. Do you think it's too much to ask for? No, I didn't think you thought it was too much to ask for. So really, right there is the only spot I need to go. Now, I'm going to fill in that side there, just so it's non-spawnable. And I'm going to fill that in there. And again, all glass, just so I can see it. Alright guys, so I'm back over at our main on-off or power line, and you can see I've split it. So it's locking that as before and going out and locking that as before. But now we're coming up here to lock the timer for our sweeper inside the farm. That's what I'm doing up in here. So standard sweeper clock, as I mentioned. Can't remember the guy who came up with its name offhand, but I will leave it in the description. So yeah, it sends a pulse followed by a 2-tick pulse, or followed by a 2-tick delayed pulse after the fact, and everybody's happy. So now I get to do the standard, you know, this stuff, bringing the wire up. I do believe that should be it. We should be able to go right in from there. Yes, yes we can. Now up in here, we're just going to take our torches back. And redstone dust all the way around. That rapid pulsing, like I said earlier, is going to be what sends this thing back and forth and back and forth. Now, we're going to need a dust there, and we're going to need a repeater. Boom. That's all for this section. Okay, so remember that torch we placed earlier? We actually need to get back to that now. What we're doing here is we're setting up the power for this bad boy over here for that wall. But see, we need it to have a substantial delay holding it in to keep it in sync with the clock down there. So we're giving it its own independent clock. I know, crazy, right? What do you want me to tell you? That's what was required to make this work. So now we're going to switch to comparators. We just want the repeaters really to force the signal out. So when that torch goes on, because the rest of that timer goes off because of this redstone wire, it's going to turn this on and it's going to send a signal in this direction. We're using half slabs, so we're not powering this piston, which is very, very important. We don't want it messing with that timer because then it'll screw up our swiper. So we're just doing a comparator clock here. I mean, kind of standard stuff. Well, I guess I make everything more complicated than it needs to be, but whatever. Leave me alone, okay? Just leave me alone. It's not my fault I love the world of marvelous redstone stuff and things. Suck it. We need 2 inputs off this. This is the tricky part. We need one here from the clock. And then we need another one. What did I just do? Whoopsies. Up in here. So we're going to take this whole thing all the way around, and there should be another repeater connecting to that wire, I believe. Yes. That's what links it to the rest of that clock. Neither one needs a delay because the other clocks do the duty here. So we're going to get rid of that junk block, and then we need to get up here and just extend a wire across this so it powers that entire bank of the pistons. Now, up in here, I do believe I put glass just so it's easy for me to see what's going on and, you know, to grant me some spacing to do all the other things. So pretty much at this stage, there's not like an insane amount of stuff left to do here. We do have to get that glassed in. And that glassed in as well. We're going to glass this just to kind of close all this off, because that is the other half of our chute. And then we'll fill this in when we get powering that, because we're not there yet, peeps. Now, the other flip side is, remember how that torch controls our torch tower, pulsing on and off? We need to lock the torch towers when that pushes out for the same duration. So that's why I added this wire here. And all we're doing to accomplish that is putting that guy like that. Ka-chow! That's gonna turn that torch off and shut those off at the same time this is extended. I know, so amazing, isn't it? Alright guys, so for our crusher up here, we need to wire that into this wire, that the rest of this, that added delay and the lockout for those are all wired into, right? Our crusher all the way down there. Yeah, that's that line coming up to this torch, right? That's why we started it all the way at the bottom, because it has to be controlled by our hopper timer, which controls how many minutes it goes off, and then it has to come all the way up here, and it has to control that, and our crusher, and lock out these guys. So it kind of had to go from the bottom all the way up in order for this to function. Now we've got a delay here, but we also need a delay before it hits the crusher from that torch. So to give this enough time to cycle and push out and keep it in sync properly with that. And for that, unfortunately, the only answer is a whole crap ton of repeaters. So we've got one. Nope, not that way, you idiot. 2. And then we're gonna try and get the third one from back here. 3. And then we need a redstone dust. We're gonna turn it. 4, 5. 6. And this is the tricky part, because this is where I lose my junk blocks if I'm not careful. There we go. I didn't fall down, go boom. I am amazeballs. So then we're going to use this redstone wiring to turn the corner and get our last 2 in. Like a so, all on 4-tick delay. That will keep our crusher in sync with the timer down there. So everything works out amazeballs. Bam! That's it. That's it, guys. That is it, save for one last thing. Torch tower all the way up there to control the lava. So do I have my observers? Yes, I do. So really, really simple, guys. You've seen me do this many, many times. I'm going to use the junk blocks here to get all the way up, because when I come back down I have to slab this thing anyways. And I'm just going to go like this, and like that, and like this, all the way up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the final redstone wiring is run off the back. Now, it is important to note that because we're coming off an observer tower, the repeater up here has to be at 2 ticks, right? Otherwise the pulse will not be long enough to shut our lava on and off. So that's it for this. Simple wire. That gives me just enough length to get all of them. So we happen to be good. That's all done. I decided I'm too lazy to get carpet. There's stone up here anyways, so I just ring around the top with stone. It's thing. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. Okay? You know why? Because I freaking said so. That's why. Now, I do believe there's something over here. I still have to half slab. That's half slabbed. So it's probably this one. Yes, this needs to be half slabbed. So it's not a spawnable block. Beautiful. Okay. Wow. That took forever. I mean, it took long enough in creative, but in survival, that took for freaking ever. So, yeah. 4 stacks. That's not good. Did I use a dispense? I used a dispenser, that's why. Has to be a dropper. Crap. Okay, and do some testing. I'll be RBs. Alright guys, couple small little mistakes in there. I had a slab missing, so I wasn't getting redstone current. No big deal. I mean, it was obvious when I saw it. And for some strange reason, the sweeper up top, you can see on the left now, the pistons were pushing out the slabs at the end, so I had to replace them with obsidian. Just that way it's an immovable block and I don't have to worry about that happening. Oh, and yeah, the dispenser below, I placed a dispenser accidentally instead of a dropper. So yeah, it was killing my face and stuff. There's the alarm. 6.5 minutes. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, guys. And also, the XP there was getting stuck, like, in here, so I had to replace those slabs with trapdoors, because it was getting stuck in between them. So yeah, not really a big deal. Yes, that moves slow, because it's on slow SAM, but it does catch up. It all comes to you without you having to move, see? So yeah, this is a dropper now, so it's giving me a potion rather than trying to kill me. And here, I'll show you guys. Can we even see it from back here? Yeah, right there. I had to change that up. It was slabs, like the part on top. I don't have a pearl on me or I'd ender pearl up. So yeah, I just switched it over. So on both sides, it's obsidian now. Outside of that, where was I missing? Our lock for the things. That was up there. That comes down. That part right there. I was missing the bottom slab to connect to the repeater. Didn't place it, so the repeater wasn't getting power to lock all the piston pushers. So no big deal. Small things, right? It's all good. It's beautiful, actually. Like, look at it. Oh, I love it, guys. I love it. This was like a ton of work. But now we have no issues for blaze rods ever again. I think this is going to be my new favorite XP farm for a while, just so I can stock back up on the blaze rods, because we use them in everything now. So, now we just got pretty it up. Anyways, guys, smash that like if you enjoyed the episode to help others like yourself who might enjoy the content find the channel. And if you're new and you haven't already, hit that subscribe for more videos, peeps. We do awesome stuff like this all the time. Thanks for watching. Bye.